Hey, what's up? This is Joe. In this video, I head over to Komodo Island for a chance to see the rare Komodo Dragon in its natural habitat. After spending the night at a hostel in the tourist district of Labuan Bajo, I headed back across town to more rustic environs. If you couldn't tell, I'm really not big on doing touristy things. Typically when I travel, I'll find a two-wheeled vehicle of some kind and make up the adventure as I go along. One of the few exceptions to this rule is the infamous Komodo Dragon. The largest extant lizard in the world, it's currently endangered with a total population of around 3,400, all of which live in only 5 islands in this part of Indonesia. In order to see it in the wild, there's simply no way aside from taking a tour of the surrounding islands. As reluctant as I was about the idea, I simply wasn't going to miss out on the chance to fulfill a childhood dream. Apa kabar?
Baik.
Okay.
Sorry, pick up you.
My bag?
The room now, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bro.
Perfect. Thank you.
And bro, you can drink the water hot.
Okay.
This one and Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
And bintang. Yeah.
Terima kasih. Hai.
Ami kole pala aku enggak? Hah? Kole.
Hey.
Kole pala aku kena koi. This is my brother.
Selamat siang.
Siang. Selamat siang. Oi. Okay. This is live stream TikTok now.
Oh, TikTok? Oh, really?
Yeah, TikTok. Mereka udah bapak aku. Enjoy, bro.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
A couple days prior, I'd called around to several of the places in town until I found the best deal on a tour. In addition to Komodo Island, there would be about a half a dozen other stops along the way, which I frankly couldn't have cared less about. Around 6 a.m., a guy showed up with a car and gave me a lift to the harbor. The budget version of the tour featured a small speedboat with about 5 other people. For the next hour, we hauled ass, skidding across the swell until we reached Padar Island, a place well known for having one of the best views in all of Southeast Asia. Right from the start, it was clear this wasn't your grandma's speedboat. This thing could really move. Then again, maybe your grandma had a good speedboat, in which case, let me know about it in the comments below. The sand on this beach is crazy, man. It's almost black, maybe volcanic. From the moment we landed on Padar, it seemed like we were in some kind of an alternate universe. Seemingly here, you could just walk right up to the wildlife. Oh wow, there's a bunch of them. Dude. For a mammal whose predators include leopards, wild canines, crocodiles, pythons, and Komodo dragons, the Vagabond roost deer was surprisingly placid. Yeah. A lot of stairs.
Yes. Number one.
Little bit of a hike to get up here. I think we're almost there, or maybe not even close. Following the example of my guide, I took my boots off for most of the hike. No sooner had I done so than one of the other guides pointed out a species of venomous pit viper hiding in the bushes.
That's why I put this on.
Wow. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's a Trimerosaurus?
Yes.
Insularis?
Insularis.
Okay. There's a Trimerosaurus insularis, which is a type of Indonesian, like a tree viper.
Green
Tree viper.
pit viper.
Green pit viper.
There he is. It's a baby.
My preconceptions about this tour were quickly abandoned when I looked back at the unbelievable scene spread out before my eyes. All right, he was just pointing out, interestingly enough, that's sort of a black sand beach right there, and then that's a pink sand beach. After slogging our way down the mountain, we got back on our humble boat and headed to another pink sand beach on the other side of the island. Here, the guides provided us with snorkeling gear and let us have at it. After swimming around a bit, I found an unbelievable series of fantastic corals surrounded by untold numbers of brightly colored fish. Unfortunately, one of the seals on my GoPro was not as waterproof as I was led to believe, and the camera was toasted by the seawater, taking with it my SD card and some of the best underwater footage I've ever taken. A short time later, one of the guides saw a juvenile Komodo Dragon off in the distance. At the exact moment, my GoPro stopped working and a rain came pouring in through the side of the shelter. We just saw a baby Komodo over there, probably about 3 years old. It disappeared right when I got my camera. My GoPro just crapped out on me. From Padar Island, it was a short jump over to Komodo. Alright, there she is, Komodo Island. A place I've wanted to visit ever since I was a boy.
How are you?
Bike.
Bisa bahasa Indonesia?
Sedikit.
Still learning.
Still learning.
Okay, I used to welcome to Komodo Island, especially Komodo Village. I want to introduce myself. My name is Andy. Okay, before we trekking, we have some regulation. Don't smoking Louis. Don't spread from group. Stay together. Stay behind ranger. Please don't swing something like bed, water, like this, because Komodo Dragon sensitive. Abang, today ikut kah?
This is the little village of Komodo. He was saying that there are about 2,000 people that live here all year, so kind of interesting. From what I can tell, it looks like majority Muslim. But yeah, kind of a cool little village that they got here. It's like an electric scooter. Back at the Pink Beach, I'd half seriously asked one of the guides if he'd ever known anyone who'd been eaten by a dragon. With a sad look on his face, he told me his cousin was attacked and eaten about 5 years prior, then listed off a string of other casualties from past years. It wasn't common, he said, but it does happen.
Hati-hati.
Hati-hati.
Yeah.
Crash, okay?
Okay.
This is crash. But Komodo Dragon can live 5 islands. Komodo Island in here, Padar Island, and Rinka Island, Nusa Kode, and Gilmotang. Population the 5 islands, 3,394. This is the area looking for food like a goat, deer, wild pig. Komodo Dragon active looking for food morning and afternoon. Maybe you know how fast Komodo Dragon?
Very fast.
Komodo Dragon 18 km per hour.
Wow,
Us. Yeah.
that's fast. Yeah. As soon as we started out, we were instantly successful. That thing is just indescribably huge. In a scene eerily reminiscent of a Gary Larson Far Side comic, several of the dragons were hanging out literally within a stone's throw of the school. Amazing that they live right next to the village. Over here, it's a little scary. There's a beautiful mosque over there. Standing right next to some serious firepower right now.
It's the bigger, huh?
It's bigger, yeah.
Stick the function the
This
protect
is-
the Komodo Dragon.
Okay, that's the defense against the Komodo Dragon?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to use it?
Yeah, Komodo Dragon can eat the meat and protect the stick.
Wow. So I said we've been really lucky today. We've already seen, what, 8 of them? On a typical day, he said they'll see maybe 4. So I'm happy.
You know boom boom time?
No. Oh, boom boom time. Yeah, I understand that. And then, dear friends, something magical happened.
Oh, you, surunai ka bang?
Had the Komodo succeeded, he would have first clamped down with a set of powerful jaws filled with sickle-shaped, serrated teeth. Each of these teeth is fortified with a natural deposit of iron directly on the serrations, giving him a literal mouthful of knives.
You, surunai ka bang?
After overpowering his prey, he would likely start with the soft parts of the abdomen, feasting on the entrails as the victim watched helplessly. We almost had a Discovery Channel model. The smell of blood would be a dinner bell to the other dragons, who would rush over to tear the victim apart one bite at a time, their jaws dripping with blood, digestive juices, and toxic saliva. After that incident, it was clear that the dragon was in feeding mode, and I didn't need to be told to keep my distance. So it's interesting to note, too, that this very island was the inspiration for the movie King Kong. The people that wrote that story were inspired by some of the first expeditions to this part of the world to collect the Komodo dragon. You can imagine that it must have really blown everybody's mind when you had this almost prehistoric looking, basically a miniature dinosaur that's existing in the modern age. There we go. Food for the food of the Komodo dragon. And human food, too.
Hey, Venturi!
Hey, get out of the house. Very distinctive type of a cemetery. Every Southeast Asian country seems to have their own variation on a cemetery. After Komodo Island, we made a couple of stops to some deep water areas where we threw on the snorkeling gear and jumped off the side of the boat. Although I'd lost all my great snorkeling footage from the Pink Beach, I was extremely fortunate to get a few seconds of these enormous manta rays with my backup camera. A short time later, we were back in Labuan Bajo, and the tour was over. By the time I'd gotten back to Flores, I'd worked up a Komodo Dragon-sized appetite, so I headed out in search of my own prey items. Alright, this is supposed to be some kind of fish that you can only find around the island of Flores. Got the Indonesian rice and some chili sambal. A little dip in some chili sambal. Kind of tastes like a freshwater fish. The way they deep fry these fish just makes all the bones nice and crunchy and totally edible. Probably a good source of calcium. The chili sambal, blow the back of your head off. Absolutely fiery, spicy, everything's fantastic. Pretty much all the men here smoke, and a lot of the women too, which is interesting for a Southeast Asian culture. Typically the women never smoke, but you see it around here a little more often than you do in other places. Like they're smoking, the guy in front of me is smoking, that guy's smoking, that guy's smoking, and it smells awesome. I mean, the smell of these clove cigarettes just fills the air wherever you go. Like I said, I've been off of cigarettes for about 4 or 5 years, pretty much, although I did have one yesterday with dinner, just because I'm here. So now if I can just make it over the hump and, you know, make it another 3 or 4 days without a cigarette, hopefully I'll be good, but it's pretty tempting. And they're like $1 for like 10 cigarettes. So I still got this bike for another couple of hours before I got to give it back. So I'm going to head north of Labuan Bajo and explore this kind of little peninsula up there. It's supposed to be some cool stuff to see. So I'm going to make the best of this rental and go explore some more of this place. Crazy looking hotel they got out here. They got a bunch of like plants and stuff on these different levels. That place does not look cheap. Selamat pagi.
Pagi. Where you come from?
America.
Udah berapa lama?
Say again?
Sudah berapa lama kok bisa bahasa Indonesia?
A little bit, sedikit.
Oh. Oke, mari.
Bye.
Di sana ada bagus, spot bagus.
That's good?
Nanti ini aspalnya habis, tinggal jalan tanah.
Stones, yeah.
Ada BTS.
Okay.
BTS Telkom nanti naik. Nanti bisa ada bagus.
Okay.
Aku nanti di sana.
Terima kasih. Little boat's making a hell of a racket. even see this one. This is what I probably would have chosen, which is the Honda CBX 150. Kind of a super lightweight, sort of an adventure, sport touring type of a deal. I guess somebody else was probably using it when I got here. That would have been good. That's the CRF 250 Rally. I've ridden this one before. It's got some decent power. After returning the bike, I wandered around for a bit, ate a delicious bowl of pork noodle soup, got on a plane, and said goodbye to Flores Island. So as always, if you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody that might like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.